It's All Things Considered, member-supported Hawaii Public Radio, and I'm Dave Lawrence. We're very excited because tomorrow night, one of Hawaii's favorite bands, as the late great Tom Moffat used to call them, the Stylistics, are returning with their Philly Soul. They're going to be doing an 8 o'clock show at the Blaisdell Concert Hall, only show in the state on this tour. And we are turning to original member and good friend of us here on All Things Considered and HPR, Stylistics member Airrion Love, joining us now to talk about the show. Welcome back, Airrion. Great to have you on again.
Dave, thank you, man. How you been?
Very good, thank you. Really appreciate you asking. How about yourself?
We've been busy, man. Still running up and down the road. Looking forward to coming to Hawaii as usual. And as usual, they never give us enough time. Every time we come in, we got to pop in and pop right back out.
Real quick hit with you guys. And I wonder if it was the case, but way back in the old days, I got this listener, Steve, the mystery emailer, Airrion, and he it's all the facts and history and reviews from concerts here going back to the early 60s. And according to Steve, you debuted in the state. It was February 1974, opening for Al Green at the Blaisdell. Yes. Can you remember any of it?
I remember that.
What's in your mind?
Well, first of all, I remember when we came in, the money we got was the most money to that date.
Wow.
So that always stuck out in my mind.
And that's a historic moment in anybody's career, quite frankly. That's probably one of the big ones, no matter what genre, even no matter where you are in entertainment, maybe however you are in your whole life.
Yeah, I think we stayed at the Hawaii Hilton. And being in Hawaii for the first time and being right there on Waikiki, right there at the water, that just blew my mind, man. All the visions that I had of coming to Hawaii.
And since you hadn't been here before, was your impression of Hawaii shaped by things like the Brady Bunch and different things on TV and sports games and stuff?
It might have been definitely by Elvis Presley. Because I remember thinking, I said, wow, that was the hotel that he was in the movie.
That's right.
There, yeah.
Hilton Hawaiian Village.
Right.
And and any memories of the thing with Al?
We worked with Al Green before. We worked with him a number of times at the Apollo Theater in New York. So that wasn't the first time with Al for us. In fact, we knew Al pretty good. So, I mean, that was just like us seeing an old friend again. But Hawaii just took over everything.
I get what you're saying. It was more significant to be here, and you had already... We've talked about the gig with Al here, but never the stuff from the mainland. Your second Hawaii visit was January 1975. You did 2 shows in one night at the Blaisdell.
It seemed like each time, except for a New Year's Eve gig, we've always played Blaisdell. And we've done a matinee and an evening show at Blaisdell. I think I might even had a chance to stay a little longer. But that second trip, I think we did go to
Maui or something.
Maui was one, yeah.
Your third time through was a special one. You were backed by a 20-piece orchestra in January 1976. That was basically, you were using that at most shows. Explain that concept, and was that the first time you guys, that year that you were doing that?
Definitely the first time in Hawaii. But when we started touring the UK, we always used a full orchestra. So when we got the option, when that was brought up to do Hawaii with a full orchestra, that just, oh yeah, we got to do that. You know, if possible, let's even do a live album, you know, from Hawaii. But that never came to pass.
That's interesting. So the orchestra, and then was that local musicians they hired for that, or did you guys import people to do it?
No, it was local musicians.
That's cool. Well, that's a great trip for those cats, huh? People be like, yeah, I remember I got to back up the Stylistics at the arena on my cello. And when we go back into your lineage, you're one of these cats. It takes a lot to keep a band going as long as you guys have. And going back even further to your childhood, explain, Airrion, how music was first introduced to you and then you just gravitated to it.
Well, you know what? According to my mom, I was always singing. I know when I started school, I was involved in some type of music program, whether it was a clarinet early years, which I didn't like at all. And then I started teaching myself the piano. But from junior high school, I mean, I was in the school choir, the all-city choir, In fact, all city through high school.
Was it somebody assigned you to sing, or how did you discover that you liked doing it and that you had the confidence, you had this gift?
Well, I'm still working on the confidence after 40-some years. But I remember doing a show in school. It was a duet with a young lady. And I remember being so nervous. The music teacher at the time, Miss Minyard, wow, I remember her name. She said, well, when you're standing on stage, just look at the clock. And in the balcony of the school, by junior high school, in the middle of that balcony on the front of it was a big clock. And we sung this song from West Side Story, There's a Place for Us. And when I went to sing Hold My Hand and You're Halfway There, I guess she was looking at the clock too, because we were just staring at the clock, fiddling around, trying to find each other's hand instead of look down to grab a hand. And the audience kind of thought that was funny. So that sticks out of my head.
She must have gotten the same advice from the teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like
it.
The Philly scene, it's one of those things you could be talking to Hall & Oates and they can give you an impression of how it influenced them. It's the kind of thing that's influenced all kinds of different people. You were a part of it. And describe how you came to be in the Monarchs, which would then team with Percussions to form the Stylistics.
Well, like I said, I was always singing, and the Monarchs was kind of like a group that we put together in the last year of junior high. So it carried over to high school. Some of the members that we had in high school either went on to college or went into the military. So the Monarchs, which was a group that I was in, we were left with 3 members and a drummer, and the percussions, they were left with 2 members, a guitar player, and a bass player. And our English teacher was kind of like our manager / advisor. And if we did do any pay gigs, she said, okay, well, put it in the bank so we can buy uniforms. And so at that time, I mean, the bass player and the guitar player was playing out of 1 amp because that's what we bought. And that's how we were working. And, wow, things just started from there. Once we combined the 2 groups of Monarchs and Percussions, we said, okay, we got to come up with another name. Naturally, we wanted to keep the Monarchs, and the Monarchs wanted to keep the name Percussion. But Percussion were like the professional group of the high school at the time. I mean, they didn't go to school that much. They did shows that they got legitimate pay from, and they all had process and brocade jackets and everything. And when we did a show, we said to everybody wear black pants and a white shirt, and that would be our stage outfit. So they did bring a little professionalism to the group. Because like I said, we were just doing a lot of local stuff.
Taking that next step, going from just being a local band to playing with bigger guys, we were talking about Al Green earlier, and you mentioned that the Hawaii gig was not the first time that you had shared the stage with Al. Getting back to where we were in your history, the remaining members of these 2 bands come together, you team up, you form the Stylistics, it takes you to another level. When was the first gig where you were opening for a really famous person, when you guys all looked at each other and were like, get out, we have the chance to open for Al Green, or fill in the blank? Who was it?
Well, you know what? Now, the Stylistics were together at this point, but we hadn't recorded anything. And we were just working the local club scene here in Philadelphia. And every other weekend or so, we would be at another venue, and we had a following where people just would follow us to any club we were performing at. And this one particular club was called the Wreck-a-Poom-Poom. A guy by the name of Bill Perry came to see the show, and I think we were doing 40-20, 40-minute show, 20-minute break. So that added up to like either 4 or 5 shows a night. And between shows, Bill Perry approached us and said, would you guys be interested in recording? We said, well, yeah, of course. He said, okay, well, you guys need original material, and our guitar player and kind of like our go-for guy, what we call my road manager, they had penned a song together. He said, well, okay, well, let's arrange to go into the studio. So we went into the studio and recorded our first song, You're a Big Girl Now. And I think the session may have cost Bill maybe $500 for the session, but he released it on his own label, which is entitled Sebring. And it was just released locally, Philadelphia and the surrounding areas. And the record went to number one in Philly. I was still working at a bank at this time. And I remember working from 4 to 12, and we got a show to do in Philly, which was literally 4 blocks from my bank in town. And I told my supervisor what was up and that I had a show to do. And she said, okay, well, how many shows you got? I said 2. How much time between the shows? I said, okay, about an hour and a half. She said, okay, go do the show, come back to work. When you do the second show, after the second show, call me, and then I'll let you know if we need you back, because my time was like from 4 to 12. And that was happening more than just a few times.
Right.
And, we did the Uptown Theater, which was the big theater in New York, like the Apollo. I mean, the big city.
In Philly.
The big theater in Philadelphia, like the Apollo was in New York. On the strength of that, Records You're Big Girl Now. And then on that show was like the Moments, the Delphonics. So to us, they were big stars because,
right.
you know, I loved their music. So it started then. And then like a week after
the Uptown
Theater, they said we really want to do the Apollo for 10 days. And I said, wow, I can't just leave the bank like that. Just tell them, you know, I got a show to do. So I said, you know, I'm going to have to give y'all my resignation. And the supervisor said, well, maybe talk it over with your parents and see what they say. And my mom, she was, oh, you got a good job with the bank, stay with the bank, blah, 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 blah. And my father said, well, you're still at home, so go ahead and take a chance. If it don't work, we got your back. So I gave the bank my resignation and went on and did the Apollo. And then after we started doing one Apollo, it seemed like every year they would follow. And that's where we met Al Green and a number of artists. And our manager at the time, in fact, he's still our manager, his father was James Brown's manager. And he hooked it up that we would do the James Brown tour with him in the States. So we would open up for James Brown. And at first James gave us like maybe 15 minutes. And then I guess we got too many applause. And he took us down to 10 minutes. And then next I know we were doing like 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but James, he was doing like 6,000, 7,000 seat arenas. So he was really instrumental in getting our music out there, besides the airplay that we were getting. But people had a way of seeing us now, 7,000, 8,000 people at one time. So that definitely helped.
Was that the first national tour?
Yeah.
Your first national tour was opening for The Godfather.
Yes.
That's got to be.
When I say national tour, I mean touring all over the United States, especially down south, Macon, Georgia, stuff like that. So that was like our first tour. We did other shows, but not like a tour that just ran like 30 days and stuff like that. That was our first one.
What an incredible, I mean, what a way to get broken in. And not only where you talk about the exposure you were getting playing in front of all those people, but also I've got to imagine there's some degree of instruction and education that comes from watching a cat like The Godfather work from close up.
Oh, for sure. Sure. We got the training of respect. You know, I want you guys to call me Mr. Brown. We would always, James, and he would give us a look, but everybody in his organization called him Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown.
Was he nice to you? Did he like the band?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, never gave us any problems. Well, not so much. He had the dancers, the female dancers, and I was seeing her on tour for a while, and she ended up, somebody beat her up, and she ended up being fired, from the show. So.
Wow. That's a weird scene that happened. Somebody beat her up?
Yeah. I wasn't ready for that mentally.
Wow. Somebody in the band did that? One of James's guys, or just somebody in the...
Well, I don't know who exactly it was, but it was if not James himself, somebody in the organization.
And they did that so that you wouldn't see her no more, or just... Because
she was seeing me.
Wow. That's one of those rough behind-the-scenes stories. Jeez.
Yeah.
That is well, let's leave it on a positive note, and turn it into the story behind one of the classics. I'm going to play this one at the end of your interview. You do a lead vocal duet with Russell Tompkins on the You Make Me Feel Brand New, and people can see a stunning version of that from Don Cornelius's Soul Train, but...
Oh, wow. I had hair then.
Oh, your hair was looking good, cuz, and so was the outfit you got on. You were looking sharp. I'm sure if you walked into the bank wearing that outfit, they would have been very impressed. There's no...
Oh, well, do that now. I think they would have called the police.
I don't know. You look pretty sharp. Well, what's the story behind that, if you want to just share? Because it's a great way to hear your beautiful voice in action.
Well, you know what? I had like a double harmonizing lead on You Everything. So that was the first time they actually, or Tom Bell actually had me featured a little bit, but people didn't know who it was. They just heard someone harmonizing with Russell on, "Day I saw somebody,
right?
He looks just like you," right? On that part. So shortly after, I think You Make Me Feel Brand New came from my second album, Rock and Roll Baby. And we were at a function in Philadelphia, sitting at the table with Tom Bell and Linda Creed. And Linda was beside me, and she said, "Guess what? You're singing a song on the next album." I said, "Are you serious?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Listen to this." And she played a little bit of it, and I got, like, goosebumps just listening to the melody. And the words weren't even quite finished yet, but just the way the melody was sounding with the chords and stuff that was going on, I said, "Oh, my God, this is a great song." And lo and behold, I went into the studio to do it, and it's been the biggest selling song of the Stylistics to date.
It's an incredible song. It's a wonderful one, and I know here in Hawaii, people love hearing something like that. It's a great way to get them primed for the tour. Well, I know you don't have a lot of time when you come back, but hopefully I can just drop by the show and record a little thing with you beforehand and just catch up with you. It would be great to see you again.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
You know, we need to do that. So I'm giving you a big hug, a high five. I love hearing the stories. It's just great to reconnect with you, Airrion. And
you too, man. And don't be a stranger. My number's are the same.
No, I need to call you. My mom had passed, and it was just...
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It was such a traumatic time for me, and it took me a while to get back to doing these things again.
Well, welcome back, man, and my condolences.
No, I appreciate it, and it'll be just great to see you. I really enjoyed the last time we hung out. We went to that bar, remember, before the show.
Yeah. Yeah. And what they had some hors d'oeuvres or something before one of the shows, the VIP room or something.
Oh, yeah. That was a cool one, right? When they had the food there and all that stuff that one night. I remember that too. Yeah, we've had a few good times over there. Well, we'll continue it, and I'm giving you a big hug. Thank you so much, Airrion, and God bless you.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yep, same here, brother. I'll see you soon. Be safe.
All right, take care.
Aloha.